That's it. Christ will return at that time. Verse 18. What happens on earth, though? And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake and so great. Do you know what causes it? Have you never read Zechariah chapter 14, where Christ's feet, when he returns, touches down on Mount of Olives and splits the very mountain asunder and prepares a way to that temple whereby Satan sits? And then Jesus' words back when he gave the 7 signs in Mark 13, Luke 21, and Matthew 24, when they said, "Oh, Jesus, look at these wonderful buildings." He said, "Mark my word well, there will be a day coming when there will not be one stone left standing atop another." That means level to sand. Not even one little rock on top of another. Sand, clean. And he will cleanse Mount Zion in preparation for the Millennium Temple. It wouldn't be a good idea to be there that day if you were thinking flesh, but then what happens at the 7th trump anyway? Now think about it. I like to dispel fear that seeps into the hearts of people. Well, what if I were being delivered up before the Antichrist when that earthquake happens and he just levels the hill? You see, you're not thinking if that be your thought. Because at the 7th trump, instantly, in the wink of an eye, you're changed into a spiritual body. Now, that's declared also in Zechariah 14, but it's not a very pretty sight if you take the crude translation that man gives it, like eyeballs melting in the sockets and things of that nature. It simply means converting to, if you would, the spiritual body. So Zechariah 14 and these last couple of verses just kind of go hand in hand, but you have not one thing to worry about. If you want to hear a very accurate description of the change, you will read it in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 51, 52, 53, where Paul warns, said, don't let this be a mystery, or I'm going to explain a mystery to you. At that last trump, the Greek is very specific. Don't let some donut peddler peddle you a bill of goods by saying it's not the last trump, because the Greek is very specific. It's the last one out. The furthest one out. Do you know what the furthest one out is? That's the last. Well, how many were there? Anybody, you better not, as my student, say, well, I don't know, because you've heard 7 from the beginning of this word. 7, 7, 7, 7. That's all there is, 7. And Christ returns at the 7th. It is amazing to me that you get a lot of Bible thumpers that say, well, there's 6 sealed, 6 trumps, and 6 vials. You got 7 rather. You got to go through all of that. No, they operate simultaneously. The seal tells you what is therein. All right, it seals it so nobody can change it for you. The trumpet, those 7, let you know when that round is fired. When you hear the trumpet, that means charge. That's action. You execute the command on the trumpet. The vial is what? And we just started this, and you'd better know what the vial was filled with. I've already told you, it's the wrath of God. Here, the vial simply shows you how God feels about each of these as we proceed from 1 through 7. So it's not that complicated. That's what I'm trying to say, all right? And I'm not talking down to anybody, and I'm not scolding anyone. I'm just saying, stay hooked up. God does such an excellent way of teaching us from His Word that you should not be deceived. So don't let some Bible thumper make it complicated for you.